quite clear the problems with it and, dressing up in a costume. There's a lot of problems with it, but I don't want to bring that up as a conversation right now. The conversation I think we should have when we talk about things like Halloween or certain types of cultures is, what do these actions represent and how do they reflect on me and my identity as a Muslim? Just to take one example, what is the core practice people are doing? Kids are going around knocking on doors and they're saying trick or treat. What does trick or treat even mean? Trick or treat means you either give me a treat, and if you don't, I'm going to play a trick on you. I'm going to throw something in your house, I'm going to prank you. Just the whole concept, some people will say, you know what, they're kids. There's nothing wrong with it. Why are you making such an issue? But the problem is, as a philosophy, as an idea, what lessons are we imparting to kids when we're telling them, go around, ask for something, and if you don't get it, the way I'm going to respond is by bombing your house with tissue paper or with dirty stuff and just make fun of you or do a prank. The idea itself is so unacceptable for children. The concept, the conversation we have shouldn't always be, okay, it is halal, we do it. It is haram, we don't do it. We need to take a step back and look at a lot of the practices and things that we do in our lives, also from the lens of what harms do they have. So to give an example, if my child is walking around dressed like a devil or dressed like a monster or dressed like a zombie, think about what type of impact that will have psychologically on my child. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We have created human beings in the most beautiful of form. And when we have people going around dressed up, not as humans, but dressed up as like monsters or zombies, this kind of normalizes a type of behavior in which we idolize what is wrong and what is incorrect. So the main lesson that I would like to share, and it's advice from myself more than anybody else here, is whenever we have issues like this, our first reaction is obviously what is halal, what is haram, that's important. But equally important is hypothetically assuming that something is halal outside in culture, hypothetically, what impact will this have on me and my family? Would I want to raise a child who, when he's refused something, his reaction is going to be, oh, you're not giving me a candy, you're not giving me something, the way I'm going to react is by harming you, pranking you, doing something inappropriate? Do I want to create an environment in my family where we're idolizing monsters and we're idolizing zombies and things that are inappropriate? Now, when we think about these things, let's worry about the long-term effects. Because when we're constantly allowing this, we're going to be slowly eroding an identity. And the reason I want to have a conversation like this is if you're going to sit with your daughter or your son, and they're going to come to you and say, Baba, Mama, this is such a small thing, I'm just going to have fun with my friends. We will give them an alternative, but we should discourage such behavior because this ultimately affects the psychology. If my son comes to me and says, what's the problem with me dressing up like a zombie? What's the problem with me dressing up like a superhero and going around asking for candy? We shouldn't tell them, you know what, it's not allowed, don't do it. Sit down and talk to them and have a conversation and say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you with such a beautiful face. Do you want to put on a mask and hide that beautiful face with the picture of a zombie? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so many beautiful character ideas that when somebody gives me something, I respond by giving them something back. When somebody doesn't give me, I am grateful and I still learn to be kind to them. So the idea here is whenever opportunities or events or festivities or holidays are happening around us, it's a really good opportunity for us to sit with our children and have a conversation about the broader ramifications, the broader harms that these things bring, and not just simply say, oh, it's halal or haram and call it a day, because a child doesn't always understand this. Imagine my child comes to me and says, all my friends, they're dressing up like princesses, they're dressing up like superheroes, why can't I do it? And I'll say it's haram. She still doesn't have that intellectual satisfaction about why I'm doing it. I'd rather sit down and say, you know what, mommy, you're actually a princess. Look how beautiful you are. You don't have to dress up to do that. Or, my son, if you put on a mask, if you're dressing up like that, look at what you're looking like. Rather, understand the beauty that Allah has given you. So we should have conversations like this with our family all the time, and not only tell them they can and cannot do, explain the beautiful alternative that Islam provides for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us all to imbibe the beautiful qualities of Islam and protect us from things that are negative and harmful to our iman. Inshallah, after the remaining sunan, we will have our weekly hadith session. Everyone is requested to participate, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.